dangerous and chaotic. And we left a lot of people behind. Senator Romney's asked you to give him some numbers, and you said you're still working on that. Here are the numbers that I have, the best that I have, as the ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee, where we pushed and pushed and pushed. 18,000 applicants for SIV. We got 705 out. You said earlier the overwhelming number of people who were at risk got out. I don't think that's true.
If I could,
no, let me just give you the numbers that I have. We think about 30,000 at-risk Afghans were evacuated out of an estimated 60,000. That's the best numbers we can come up with, because we can't get good numbers from the administration. But that's the best estimate. So that's true, that we left people behind who had stood with us and helped us. Obviously, American citizens are left behind, green card holders are left behind, but thousands of people who stood with us and helped us. And then let's ask about who came. Earlier there was discussion about what kind of vetting has taken place. The best numbers we have is that about 3/4 of the people who were evacuated were not green card holders, were not American citizens, were not SIV applicants, were not P1 or P2 visa holders. So about 3/4 of these individuals may not have qualified in this sense. Now, you say that they're being vetted. Good, they should be. And, you know, nobody knows, because we can't get good information from the Department of Homeland Security, from the State Department, and others. But, you know, from the start, many of us have said what we do there needs to be based on conditions on the ground. Quite frankly, the President's decision was not based on conditions on the ground. That's why it was a disastrous withdrawal. That's why it put so many people at risk. It should have been an orderly withdrawal under the cover of superior U.S. and NATO military force. We did have 2,500 troops there, but we had 7,500 NATO troops with us too. Again, many of their commanders were shocked at what happened, because they were surprised, because there was not good coordination. There was a lack of coordination with the people who had stuck with us. I talked about Bagram. There was also a lack of integrated interagency planning. Of course, we've seen this in terms of how the chaotic withdrawal occurred. These were preventable problems, and they put our military and your diplomats in this impossible situation. They did the best they could, and I commend them for that. In an impossible situation, it's amazing what they were able to perform. But it was so rushed and so chaotic that, again, we didn't get the right people out. And many who we did get out seem not to fall in any of the categories that we were concerned about. So now what do? Let's look forward, as was suggested by Senator Coons, and I agree with that. You said that you don't believe it will be a platform for terrorism going forward, that the current government, the Taliban government, has said that they will fight back against terrorists. Do you believe that the Haqqani network, and particularly the new Secretary of the Interior, who is a wanted terrorist, based on your administration's assessment, do you believe that that is an indication that they are going to fight back against terrorists?
The question, Senator, from our perspective and our partners' perspective is whether the Taliban will make good on commitments to ensure that Afghanistan is not used as a place for outwardly directed terrorist attacks. And they've made commitments, but we're not relying on those commitments. We're going to make sure that we have in place the ability to detect any reemergence of that threat and to be able to do something about it if it does reemerge, something that we can talk about in more detail.
Is the Haqqani network considered a terrorist group?
It is.
Is it true that the Interior Minister is a leader of the Haqqani network?
That is accurate.
I just think, sadly, we have shaken the foundations of a lot of our alliances, and we have work to do. And I think we have demonstrated weakness and made the world more dangerous as a result. Let me ask you about one specific question. Well, I guess
the time of the senator has expired.
I will follow up with regard to some of the international financing questions. A letter we sent to Secretary Yellen from Senator Rubio and myself regarding foreign assets.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Merkley.